Good morning to you once again and welcome to the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, where the hippo have come out in their number this morning, singing and bellowing in unison as if in solidarity with their rhino friends, their fellow mammals there. And it is World Rhino Day. It is the focus of our discussion today. And I'm joined by the Deputy Minister in the Department of Environmental Affairs, Barbara Thomson. DM, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Ayanda, and good morning to the viewers at home.
We live in a country that has a number of conflicting interests. That people are concerned about crime, people are concerned about socioeconomic issues, people are concerned about meeting basic human needs. Why is it important that we focus on the rhino?
Okay, Ayanda, I am very familiar with the concerns that you have raised, but as a department, as a government, we have a duty which is actually outlined in our constitution, and that duty is to make sure that wildlife and natural resources are conserved and protected. So, hence we have this celebration or commemoration of the World Rhino Day. It's basically to make sure that we educate our communities, especially those that are living in the surroundings of our parks where these mammals are housed. It is also important for us to celebrate this day as a country, as communities, because we have a proud record of housing quite a significant number of rhinos. It's about 80% of them are still here with us in South Africa as compared to other continents. But it is also important to celebrate this day because these mammals have a contribution towards the upliftment of the communities that are around the area. I know people would always want to see service delivery as in terms of roads, schools, clinics and so forth. Hence they would always ask a question, why the big deal about the rhino? But for people that and communities that are in these surroundings, are actually benefiting. The very boat that we are on right now belongs to one of the beneficiaries. And one of the reasons why tourists would come around the area to visit is merely to see a rhino, just a rhino. So it's quite an important day for us.
And yet the rhino are facing significant decline. South Africa, as you mentioned, used to be known as king, I suppose, when it comes to conservation. In the 1960s, were very instrumental in saving the rhino from the brink of extinction. And also, as you've mentioned, we are home to almost 80% of the world's total population of the rhino. How significant is the crisis that we're facing now? Is it akin to the one that we experienced in 1960s, or is this completely over the top, or perhaps on the way there?
Well, let me not compare the two, but it is true that as a country we are facing a great challenge when it comes to rhino poaching. One would not actually deny that. Government will come with means and ways of trying to combat this challenge. But unfortunately, poachers are also on the rise, and they would always make sure that they try to be a step ahead of us.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you about next. The role of government in curbing rhino poaching. You mentioned to me that it has to be a multidisciplinary approach. The State Security Department must be involved in this. Policing must be involved, not just environmental affairs, because even as you're here and in empowering and educating the public about what government is doing, the poachers are also listening and getting tips on how to up the ante against your efforts.
Well, I know there's been a loud cry out there that government is not doing enough. While not actually disputing that, but one wants to say that this time around, government has come out with quite a number of ways of trying to step up our security measures. It's just that also that one could not, actually divulge everything as to what is being done. But for instance, this St. Lucia, Ismangaliso, if I may say, will be deploying about 30 officers to King Shaka Airport. That is one of our tries as government. These are the officers that will be managing in trying to detect whether or not there are no products, environmental products or wildlife products that passes through the detector. As a department, we will also be deploying quite a number of these officers, we call them the Green Scorpions, to the OR Tambo. We would also be, this is also part of what government is doing this very same day, where we create awareness to the communities, to the public. But also we would also try and fit some gadgets to the rhino itself to make sure that every movement
you're able to track,
track straight away,
indeed.
on time. But there are other security issues. Of course, the state security is involved, defense is involved, South African police is involved. But as I say, some of the issues are quite delicate to
sensitive. You can't just divulge on this platform, and we can't get through all of them with such little time. Indeed. So, Deputy Minister, my thanks to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Barbara Thomson, the DM in the Department of Environmental Affairs, just giving us some of the highlights of what government is doing. And you and I, my friend, also have a role to play. We'll discuss that further in just a short while. Do stay with us.